Right now, there's a massive opportunity in the Halifax real estate market, and hardly anyone is talking about it. This isn't just another sales pitch or a market trend. This is a window where certain sellers hold all the power and certain buyers hold all the leverage. So if you bought pre-2021, this might be the best year for you to make your next move. So what's this opportunity, and why is 2025 shaping up to be the perfect storm for certain homeowners to make their next big real estate move? Stick with me because it's one of those situations where timing is everything. Now, if you're new here, just before we get into it, my name is Andrew Stevens. I'm a realtor and brokerage owner here in Halifax. And if you want to be educated on the Halifax real estate market, you're in the right place. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you're thinking about making a move anywhere in the HRM or Nova Scotia and you'd like to get in touch with me to help you with that, you can reach out to me anytime in the Calendly link below. The real estate market is sort of like the weather. It's always good for somebody, but the question is who? So think about it this way. I'm somebody who hates the winter. I don't do any winter activities. My job is much less enjoyable in the wintertime. I hate the cold. And yes, I know I live in Nova Scotia, but that's just me. However, one of my buddies here at the brokerage who also sells homes loves winter. He's a big snowmobiler, so every time it snows, he gets out there on the trail and he's loving life. Or maybe somebody who's really into fishing loves when it's raining outside. I don't know, but you get my point. And the real estate market is sort of the same. It's always good for somebody, but the question is who? Is it buyers? Is it sellers? Is it investors? Is it first-time home buyers? It's different in every different segment of the market. And in this case, the key group of homeowners who can take advantage of the market in 2025 are those who are looking to upsize, going from their first home to their forever home. So in this video, I'm going to break down the process of upsizing, why it's a great time to do it in 2025, and what those logistics will look like. So first off, let's dive into this and talk about why people are going to want to upsize. So there's a variety of different reasons, but here's kind of some of the more common ones that I deal with. So first off, the obvious one, they need more space. When they bought their first home, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, maybe their life was much different. Maybe since then they've added a partner, maybe they've added some kids to the mix, maybe a dog, or maybe they just kind of got into a really small place because they were scraping in financially to get into the market and build some equity in their first home, and now they are bursting at the seams. Another reason might be a different location. Maybe they want a different neighborhood, a more family-oriented neighborhood. Maybe they bought a house on a main street and they want to be on a side street. Maybe they want to be closer to work, closer to downtown. There's all sorts of reasons why somebody might want a different location. Maybe their financial situation has changed, which is pretty typical of somebody who would be looking to upsize in the range of 30 to 35 years old. Maybe they bought a place when they were 25, just starting their career. Maybe they've made some career moves, or they've just climbed the corporate ladder at work, and now they have a much more healthy budget to kind of get into what more closely resembles what they would consider to be their forever home. Maybe they're looking for a better quality home. Maybe they scraped in and bought something that was a little more dated or needed some work, and now they're dreaming of their dream kitchen with the quartz countertops, the nice backsplash, the new appliances, the oversized island. Or maybe they're dreaming of a spa-like ensuite in their primary suite. Or maybe they're just looking for more space for multi-generational housing. Maybe they're looking to add a parent or an aging family member into their house as well and looking for a different setup or a bigger home to allow them to do that. So why is 2025 the perfect time to do this? Well, this is where things get interesting, and this is where it sort of adds up to the perfect storm that allows a home buyer to do this in this type of a market. So first off, if you bought your first home, let's say pre-2021, then you're likely sitting on a gold mine of equity. Let's say you bought a home that was a pretty typical home to get into back in 2020. Let's say maybe a semi in Sackville or Cole Harbor or Eastern Passage, maybe a bungalow or a split entry that was in one of those suburb markets as well. Maybe you purchased a new build in a growing subdivision like Governor's Brook, like a lot of my friend group did. They were getting in for $250,000 to $300,000 in a detached 2-story home that was brand new with nice finishes. And if you bought a home in this time frame around 2020, that would mean that on average, your home value has grown by 60% across the HRM. So for context, that would mean if you bought a home for $200,000 in 2020, it's now worth about $320,000. If you bought a home for $250,000 in 2020, it's now worth about $400,000. If you bought a home for $300,000 in 2020, it's now worth about $480,000. And if you bought a home for $350,000 in 2020, it's now worth about $560,000. So these are just average numbers just to give some context to kind of the equity that you may be sitting on if you bought a home 5 years ago. And yes, this is crazy. This is way above the normal kind of growth that we're used to seeing in our market. If I look back to 1980, we're getting about 5.5% growth average year over year across the HRM. However, in 2020, 2021, and 2022, we saw averages of about 15%, 25%, and then another 15% to back that up. So it's been a few crazy years, and now we're kind of back to reality, seeing price growths in the 4 to 6% range like we're more accustomed to seeing. But the real kicker is if you bought a home in 2020 for, let's say, $200,000 to $350,000, then that means that more than likely in this market today, the home that you bought that you're going to be selling before you upsize is going to be in a seller's market. So what I mean by a seller's market is we have very little supply for the demand that we currently have in this particular price range. So that means we have about a month's worth of listing inventory, which for context is pretty similar to what we were seeing in the HRM at the peak of the market during the pandemic in 2021 and 2022, which means that homes are selling very quickly in this kind of a price range. There's a lot of demand. Oftentimes this results in a bidding war, bringing multiple offers. And oftentimes that means that it's going to sell over and above the asking price, not to mention very, very quickly in a lot of cases. Again, very much dependent on what you're selling and what neighborhood that you're in. However, all of this changes when you go up in price and you get to about the $700,000 and above price range. In that segment of the market, we're in a buyer's market. There's much more supply than the demand that we currently have. And this is a lot to do with people being priced out of these particular price points. So in this market, we have about 4.5 months worth of inventory, which is pretty balanced right now. But heading into the spring, I would expect this to grow even further. And for context, last year we spent the majority of the year in about the 5.5 to 7 months of inventory range, which is considered a buyer's market. So last year, that's where we spent the majority of our time, month to month, in that particular price range. So what does this mean for you as a buyer? It means that there's a lot more inventory to choose from. It means that there's much less competition, meaning you're not as likely to run into a bidding war, meaning you have a little bit more room to negotiate in terms of when you're going to close, what your price is going to be, what your conditions are going to be, and so on. So this makes buying a home in this price range much easier than the, let's say, up to $500,000 or up to $550,000 price range. Again, very, very dependent on the neighborhood that you're looking in. So that's the overall situation, but let's dive into this a little bit more and talk about why that makes this the perfect storm for you to upsize if that is what you're thinking about doing anytime in the near future. So first of all, the home that you own is in an area where you have a lot of competition, you have very little supply, a lot of demand, homes are selling quickly and relatively easily. Now, when you're looking to buy, you're doing the flip side of that. So you're looking to buy in a market that is much less competitive, there's much more choice, there's much more room and freedom to negotiate. So you get the chance to maximize your selling price while getting the best deal on your upgrade. And that's really the perfect storm in real estate. Sell high and buy low. That's the dream, right? Now, just because in theory, this is a great time to do this, it doesn't mean it doesn't take some work to get the logistics right. And it can be a little bit complicated to get all this to come together smoothly without the hassle of having to move twice or put your things in storage and to line everything up appropriately. So here's what you're going to want to do. Here's how you start the process if you're looking to upsize. So first off, you're going to want to get a home valuation. You're going to want to talk to a realtor that you know, like, and trust, or you can slide into the Calendly link in the description below to book a seller consultation with me, and they'll come to your house, they'll take a look, and they'll kind of let you know what they believe the value of your place to be. So this is really important if you're thinking about upsizing, because you need to know what your home's going to sell for before you can go understand your budget on the next purchase when you're looking to upsize. So number 2 would be understanding your financial situation. So once you know what your expected sale price is on your home, and for the record, I would suggest being, pretty conservative in what that value will be. And then anything above that is just all extra gravy on top of that. So once you know what your home's going to sell for, you're going to want to go to a mortgage broker and get pre-approved for what you can afford on the other end of this when you're looking to buy. Now, there are a ton of variables that are leading into this. So first off, what's your mortgage situation? When's your term up? Are you fixed? Are you variable? Do you have a penalty? Or maybe you can port your mortgage to the new place and then just add on to it. There are so many variables. Maybe you can buy first without selling, or maybe you have to sell first to get that financing approval on the next home that you're buying. So all of these things play a massive factor in the logistics of how to do this. So the biggest question that I get when I'm talking to people looking to do this is, do we sell our home first and then go buy? Or do we buy a home first and then go sell? And it really depends on everybody's own situation, what they're looking at financially. So in some cases, it might be better to sell first. And the risk with that is, what if the next home that you're looking for doesn't come up? Maybe you're looking for something very specific in a specific neighborhood and size and price point or whatever. And what if you sell your home and it's closing in 60 days and that next home is not available? Do you have a backup plan? Are you willing to move twice? Are you willing to get a short-term rental or move in with some family? So those are kind of the challenges that present themselves when we're looking to do this. On the flip side, if you're looking to buy first, it depends. Can you do this cleanly without the condition of selling your home first? And then we just know your home's going to sell pretty quickly because it's in a seller's market. That's one thing. But if we have to have a clause in there that's conditional on the sale of your home, we might get bumped out on this end, and then you might lose out on that home before your home sells. And there's all kinds of things like this to discuss. And again, it's very situational to your own specific situation, what you're selling, what you're looking for, and the overall financial picture. So once we have a full understanding of your home's value and your financial situation, what you're looking for, how available is that type of home that you're looking for, and so on, then it's time to make the plan. How do we execute this? And the ideal situation is that we find the home you're looking for, we have your home sold, and then we can close the new home and then have a little bridge loan, maybe for 4 days or a week, to allow you to close the new home, move everything to the new home, and then close the home that you're selling. And that way you don't have to do the midnight move, like pack the moving truck up on a Wednesday afternoon and move in on Thursday. We don't have to do that. Or you don't have to move all your stuff out into storage and stay with family or a short-term rental or a hotel or something like that. So the whole goal here is to make this as smooth as possible. And I believe 2025 is the perfect time to do this if you're looking to upsize from your first home to your forever home. Now, if you're thinking about doing this and you want some guidance, don't forget you can reach out to me anytime in the Calendly link below to book a seller consult, a buyer consult, or just a phone call with me at your convenience. And if you got any value out of this video, all I ask is that you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so more people like you can see this video and they can get help with their needs in the Halifax real estate market. And until next time, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.